We're heading out to the ringed planet Saturn. So here to help us get to know this gas giant is Bing Quock, Assistant Director of the Morrison Planetarium. And when people think of Saturn, often it's about those gorgeous rings. But in terms of a planet, in terms of all that makes it a planet, is there certain things about Saturn that stand out from the rest of the or the rest of the seven that we have around our sun here?
Well, of course, the rings are one of the things that make Saturn such a unique planet. I mean, when I looked at the sky through my telescope when I was a kid, the first thing I looked for was Saturn, and just the sight of those rings makes it such an unbelievable sight. But Saturn is also one of the largest planets in the solar system. It's second only to Jupiter, and because it's so big, it has a very, very different nature than the other planets that we think of, like Earth or Mars. It is made mostly of gas. It really doesn't have a solid surface to it, but it does have a huge system of moons, just like Jupiter does.
Would it be possible to maybe land on one of those, send a Titan 1 mission out into the solar system or something like that?
Well, that's the trick, Eric. The moons of Saturn are small, icy, or rocky bodies, not like Saturn itself, which is mostly gaseous, which means you can't land on the surface of Saturn. There really isn't a surface to land on. So you look at the moons, and there are 62 of these. A few of them are very much like our own moon. They're very solid. They have icy or rocky surfaces. Titan might have a slushy surface. It's got a very thick atmosphere. It's the only moon in the solar system that has a really thick, substantial atmosphere. And there's a whole different kind of chemistry going on Titan, because what we find there is not water ice, but methane. It's too cold out where Saturn is, nearly 1 billion miles out from the sun. The temperature is around 300 degrees below zero. Water cannot exist in liquid form there. And some scientists who are interested in whether or not life might exist are interested in finding water in liquid form. But you're not going to find it at that kind of temperature. Another one, as I mentioned earlier, is Enceladus, which is a small moon. Enceladus is only about 300 miles across, so it's not very big, but some scientists think that it does have an underground ocean beneath its icy crust. So that's another place that scientists are really interested in going to explore someday. Enceladus is it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't have a thick atmosphere. It's kind of like our own moon, and you just have a safe place to land. It's a hard surface, and you just drill down below the ice to find the water. That's what scientists think a mission there could be. Titan is a little more of a challenge because you've got a thick atmosphere. It's very hazy. It's hard to see through that. We have sent one lander to the surface of Titan, and that is one that was dispatched by the Cassini probe back in 2004. It landed in what scientists think is a very slushy, muddy sort of surface. It looked around, it did have a camera on board, and it saw lots of rocks. It's a very challenging environment. We don't know much about the kind of chemistry that could be happening on the surface of Titan. So that makes that a little more of an unknown environment for us.
Bing, thank you so much for joining us here to explore this gas giant Saturn.
My pleasure, Eric.